that should have been my sign. That should have been my sign to abort the mission and DNF it. But I kept going. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my May reading wrap up. So this month was honestly a really good reading month, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys about some of these books because these are like life-altering books, like favorite of the year type thing. Grab a snack, grab a drink, here we go. A lot of these were or are going to be in videos, so you may already know my thoughts on them. And with that, the first book I read is Happy Place by Emily Henry. If you've watched the reading vlog I did on this, you would know that I am not usually an Emily Henry lover. I read Book Lovers and didn't love it, but I seen everyone on the internet raving about this book, so I had to give it a chance. With that, I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It was really cute, and I feel like this is common with all of Emily Henry's books, but they are more than just a romance. There's definitely other things going on in the book, and it is like deeper, I guess. But basically a summary of this book is, I don't remember what her name is, hang on. Harriet and Wynne, they were dating and they've known each other since college, I think it is. And basically every summer they go to this like lake house, beach house type thing. And their friends all still think they are together, even though they are broken up. So it's kind of fake dating-ish. But yeah, it's super cute and all the summer vibes are in this book. And then on my Kindle I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I rated this a 4.25 stars. I know, kind of particular, but that's how I felt. I mean, I read this book so freaking fast, you guys. This book is so fast paced, just easy and quick to read. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but I know it's kind of like a family type thriller. Her daughter goes missing and you're figuring out what happened there, and while the family's also trying to move on, you're with that, and it was really good. This book, there's reveals like throughout the story and all of them were like really good. So I definitely recommend this one if you want like a fast read. And then I read Love from Scratch by Caitlin Hill. I give this book a 3 stars. I barely remember it and it was pretty mid. When I was reading it though, I did enjoy it and I did read it fast. The motivation to read it fast was just to get it done and over with instead of I actually really liked it. With that, a little summary. I could not even begin to tell you what their names were. The main girl and guy, they both are interns for this like cooking show, which is a super cool idea. They're both competing for another internship and only one of them can get it. They're competing for that, and then you do see a lot of the show. The book was mostly about their time at the show and like on set and everything. That was one thing I didn't really like. I feel like there wasn't much detail about their lives, like their other friendships, their families, and like all that. I don't know, it was definitely just centered around the show. It did touch on some like other topics like cyberbullying, which I thought was good. And in some parts the book was just repetitive. I was skimming it at some points, so yeah. After I enjoyed Happy Place a lot, I decided to give Beach Read a chance, and I gave this book 5 stars. This is a romance, you guys. Well, it's not like a romance, but like this is the type of romance I love. Like wholesome, soulmate, other stuff going on in the book rather than just like stupid third act conflicts. So this was amazing, but definitely her books aren't like rom-com fluffy. There is definitely deeper stuff going on, and I really liked this one because there was a plot rather than just like them getting together and fake dating or whatever, which I still love, but you know. Basically, they are both writers in this, and it's January and Gus. I remember these names because I loved this book. She writes romance, he writes like dark fiction, literary fiction, I don't know. And they are both kind of in like a writing slump, so they decide to switch genres. So Gus is going to write a romance, she's going to write a literary fiction. And that whole aspect is so cool because they go on like journeys together working on the books, and it is so cute. And there's also like family stuff going on too. Read this. But as for The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, this is a sequel to The Serpent, the Wings, and the Night. by Carissa Broadbent, who is blowing up all over TikTok. The first book is essentially fantasy Hunger Games with vampires. Incredible book. Incredible. So fun. Pretty easy to understand, actually. The romance, can't really tell you what this is about because, again, it's a sequel, but I love this. 4.25 stars. There's a lot of those in this video, but the pacing in her books, you guys, is incredible. There are some books, fantasy books, that just drag everything out. Like, it went on a journey somewhere, to somewhere like pretty far away, and it was like one page they said they were going, next page they arrived. That never happens in fantasy books. Loved that. There was lots of action throughout this book and not really a dull point, which we love because especially with longer fantasy books, it can get boring. And this one was like 600-ish pages, I think, so it definitely could have dragged on, but it was completely good. Again, the romance is incredible, the friendships, the characters, all of it we love. But with the pacing being super fast, there were a couple things that were kind of skimmed over, which in the end of it, it doesn't, I love the book, and overall I liked the pacing. I really liked the ending too. I feel like it wrapped up in a really good way. That's good because I think there's gonna be more books in this world, but not the characters. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we love when it wraps up good. You guys, this book literally rocked my world. I saw this everywhere, literally everywhere, and I picked it up and I loved it. This might be one of my favorites of the year. Miss Fourth Wing. Where do I even start, you guys? This was crazy. I read this in 2 days. 2 days. And both of those days, the only thing I could think about was this book. I was like in the car going somewhere and I'm like, I need to get home to read Fourth Wing. I was just thinking about like the characters, and that's how you know. That's how you know it's a good book. But, so, I could talk about this book this entire video, but I'm not gonna. Basically, so the premise of this book is Violet. They're basically at this like magical college, and she has spent her whole life training to be a scribe, which is basically kind of like an archivist, librarian type thing. And her mom is a general in this world, and so she really wants her to be a writer, a dragon writer. And so she makes Violet go to the like writer part of the school instead of the scribes. And it's kind of like Hunger Games, Divergent, How to Train Your Dragon, fantasy mix. It has it all. So she's fighting to stay alive while she goes through all of these challenges, and then eventually has to bond with a dragon, which she is scared to do. There's romance in this book, amazing friendships. The dragons are literally amazing, and this book is incredible, and I already want to reread it, and I read it like 2 weeks ago. And then I picked up Billy Summers, and there's a little story about this I have to tell. So I got this from the library. I was reading it, and then I went to a garage sale when I was literally like, had like 100 pages left. I found this book at the garage sale, $2, and I found 2 more of his newer books, so I was so excited. I was literally like, I was smiling so hard at that sale. It was literally incredible. When I first finished this, I marked it on Goodreads as a 5-star. I think I'd bump it down to a 4.25. The first half of this book was literally a 6-star. I loved it so much. After the second half, it was still good, but like something about it just didn't hit as hard as the first half for me. This book is something I don't normally read. This is my first Stephen King book, and it is about Billy Summers. And he is, what do you call it? He's basically a hitman. And he is hired to take out this dude, and it's kind of sus, and he's like kind of off about it. It's basically like a whole like month-long process. He's pretending to be a writer, and with that he writes his like life story. So you not only read about him trying to hitman someone, but you also read about his life story, and it is super good. It's addicting. Like, you don't want to put this down because you're like, I have to like know what happens next, and it was so good. But like I did say, something about the second half didn't hit as hard for me. Like, it was still phenomenal, but I don't know, it didn't hit as hard. So with that, bumping it down to a 4.25. And then I've read Float by Kate Marchant. This is just a summary YA romance, which as you can see in the next books I'm going to show, I was feeling those vibes hard. This book was super cool. So apparently this author started writing this when she was 15 on Wattpad, and then she finished this book 10-ish years later when she was like out of college and everything. And honestly, I'm kind of oblivious when I read. Like, I didn't really notice the writing like change, but like some people say they do. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but it was such a vibe. One thing about this though, the font on the pages, like the numbers, you can see it, but it looks like a 7. So that just triggered me for some reason. Like when I was on page 196, it looked like I was on page 796. And I don't know, something about that. Basically the premise of this book, our main girl, Waverly, she lives in Alaska, which I wish we got more of the Alaska in this book because that would have been so cool. But whatever. This is a summer book. We can't be in Alaska. She basically gets sent to live with her aunt in Florida, which obviously it's a big change for her and all of that. And then she sees a boy next door. His name's Blake. He's a lifeguard, all that, and it's super cool. And she makes a lot of friends in this town, gets a job, all that, and it is such a good story. Like, if you want something to bring to the beach or the pool, bring this. It is adorable, and it's just such a vibe. And I read this so fast, and when you're reading it, you're like in a whole different world. So read this. And then I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. A while ago I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This is technically, you can read it alone, but I would literally like force you to read When in Rome first because it is strongly connected. When in Rome is about 2 characters, and those 2 characters are heavily prevalent in this book. And When in Rome was so fun, like, you have to read it first. I'm gonna explain the premise of When in Rome and then explain how it relates to this one so you know. So basically, When in Rome is about our girl Amelia and Noah. Amelia is a super famous pop star, and she needs a break from everything. So she types in her phone Rome, and it takes her to Rome, Kentucky. So she basically drives there, doesn't tell anyone. So when she gets there, her car breaks down on Noah's doorstep. Well, not in his door, but in his driveway, yard, whatever. So then he's just like such a sweet dude. So he's like, of course, helps her and let her stay with him. And it's in a small town, so you come to love literally all of the characters. And like, everyone in the town is just so sweet and funny. So with that, we get into Practice Makes Perfect. The dude, see, I told you I forget everyone's name. Will. He is Amelia's bodyguard, the pop star from When in Rome. And she, Annie, is Noah's sister, the love interest from When in Rome. So it's super cute, and like I said, you do see the When in Rome couple a ton in this book, so I would highly recommend reading When in Rome. I literally loved this so much. It was so freaking fun. I read it in one day. Will treated her so good. I will say there was, I feel like, some miscommunication. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, I have feelings for you. And then they like did stuff that like contradicted that and like postponed the relationship. So that was kind of annoying, but overall it was such a vibe. So, and then I read Flawless by Elsie Silver. I had such a hard time getting into this book, and that should have been my sign. That should have been my sign to abort the mission and DNF it. But I kept going. Well, I kept skimming. I didn't fully read this book. I skimmed the frick out of this book because you guys, I unfortunately do not think I will be continuing on with the Chestnut Springs series. I have a video coming. It is Reading Romances for a Week, and you will see my reactions to this book in that video. It should be up in a couple weeks. But this book, at first, I did not love the characters at all. The guy pissed me off. The girl was like meh, very meh. And their relationship, I feel like it was purely physical, like based off looks and all of that, and I don't really like that. I'm gonna be honest. That may be your cup of tea, but for me, I love like the deep like soulmate romances, and I love a YA romance where they're just like cute, fluffy, not really physical. So there's that. A little summary about this book. So our main guy, do not even ask me what his name is. I could not tell you. Rhett? Rhett, that's all right. Our main guy Rhett and our main girl, we'll call her question mark. He is a professional bull rider. And so it is like country, small town, all that. We love those vibes. I just wish the execution would have been better because I would eat up this country, small town stuff. So her dad is actually his agent manager thing. She works for her dad. Rhett is basically on the verge of losing his sponsorships because he did something, and that whole something that he did, it was literally so cringy and the dumbest. Anyway, so she basically gets sent to live with Rhett to basically be his babysitter and try to keep his sponsors. So we can all see where that goes. I will say the ending of this book was super interesting and actually like good. I really did like the last like 100 pages. I actually read and didn't skim those. So yes, I will be giving this a 2.5 stars. I can definitely see how people love this series so much, and let me know if any of the other books are, you think I'd like the other books in the series, because like I said, I love the vibes, but like the execution just wasn't there. Flawless, I would give probably 2.5 stars. Then I read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I was super excited for this book. Also, it's like really floppy, which we love. I thought it was at a summer camp, which it is not, but it is basically about Bradley and Celine, who used to be best friends when they were younger. Unfortunately, there are enemies now, academic enemies, kind of just enemies in general. There's basically an opportunity at their school to go on this like wilderness excursion type thing, and if you like win it, you get a full ride scholarship. So they both really want that scholarship, so they both sign up for the wilderness excursion. It did take me a bit to get into at first. I don't know if I was completely in the YA romance mood, but it did take me a little bit to get into, and at first it kind of annoyed me how much they like hated each other, because like they were just like scowling at each other and just like talking crap, and I was like, alright, I get it. And I really did wish there was gonna be more of like the camping outdoors aspect. So they went on 2 different like outdoors excursions, and it didn't take up that much of the book, and I was really hoping there would be more of that, because again, summer vibes. It was a cute, easy read. Bring this to a beach, you'll be good. I gave this 3 stars. And then I read The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. You guys, this book was incredible. 5 stars. So going into this book, I kind of thought it would be boring, because the main premise of this book is our main girl Meredith, her family basically has this whole like area of Martha's Vineyard, and they usually go there every summer. They haven't gone for a couple of years because something happened in their family that is really sad. So they finally went back for one of their cousin's wedding. Basically, it's like a tradition to play a game of Assassin, and I kind of thought it would be boring just reading about the game, but I freaking loved it. Like, I want to play Assassin so bad now. Like, the vibes in this book were incredible, and it's literally making me like crave a Martha's Vineyard water gun assassin fight, even though that will never in a million years happen. It just like puts you in this world so good and makes you feel like you're there. I loved it so much. I really liked all the characters, because like I said, their whole family has like houses there, cabins there, whatever, so you get to see all of their family, and I loved them all together. I will say, so this book is set over the course of a week that they are there for, so with that, it's kind of insta-lovey. Their relationship goes extremely fast, but I mean, since the time frame is just a week, it makes sense that that would happen since it's a romance book. That's the only thing I feel like that could definitely turn some people off of this book. Like I said, since the whole setting takes place in Martha's Vineyard over that wedding week, it makes sense that they would fall fast for each other. I really like their relationship and both the characters, so it was fine for me. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, and let me know if you've read any of these books or are planning to soon, and I'll see you guys soon back with another video. Bye guys.